It's January, it's tax season, and I want to let you know about a few important due dates as a business owner. I'm Linda Tuttle, the adventuring accountant, and if you haven't met me before, I'm here because I want to help small business owners, entrepreneurs, real estate professionals understand some of the rules around taxes, tax due dates, all things taxes, and growing a business so that you can maximize your income. Today I want to talk to you about some of the important reports that are due in January, and it can be confusing as a new business owner to understand all the due dates, but January is a big one. A lot of times new business owners only think of April 15th when it comes to taxes, but there are other dates that you need to be aware of. So first I want to mention estimated tax payments. These are due quarterly. 4 equal payments should be spread throughout the year to get the IRS their money, because they like to get their money and they like to get it equally throughout the year. So January 15th was the due date to send in that fourth quarter estimated tax payment. If you didn't, you can still pay your taxes due in April. You can pay the full balance due on time and still have a penalty if you haven't made those estimated tax payments. So something to be aware of there. You want to work with your tax advisor to make sure that you are getting those payments made equally throughout the year. The numbers may change as your income fluctuates over the year, but there are minimums that should be done based on your prior year's tax. So speak to your tax advisor about that. I also wanted to talk to you about W-2s, 1099s, payroll tax returns that are due in January. It's very important if you are set up as an S corporation that you are aware of the due dates for payroll. I had a number of new business owners come to me at the end of December and say, Linda, please help. I didn't get my payroll paid in 2023. It's December. Help me, I need to know what to do. So the first thing is you want to make sure that you are actually making these transfers. It's important as an S corporation to calculate a reasonable compensation. I have a matrix that I can share with you to help you understand what those numbers should be, but you need to pay yourself a payroll. And on that payroll, you need to file different tax reports. There is a 941, which gets reported to the IRS. This shows your federal, Social Security, and Medicare tax payments, and those are due quarterly. There's also a Form 940 that is due January 31st as well. This is on your federal unemployment. This is due annually on that report. And then, of course, your estimated tax deposits should be made, and that depends on how much payroll you're paying, whether that needs to be paid monthly, semi-monthly. There's different factors there, but you need to make sure your payroll taxes are paid timely. And then with that, if you are an S corporation owner, you also need to issue yourself a W-2. This needs to be issued to any employees that you have by January 31st, and you also need to file the copy with the IRS. So be aware of those dates. The states, depending on where you live, you also have reports. I'm in Utah. I know that they have a reconciliation form that compares the 3 previous quarters with the 4th quarter, and then you also have to report the W-2s that were paid so that you can make sure that that reconciles. Now I want to touch briefly on 1099s. I get this question quite often. Somebody will say, hey, I made $300 from this. I didn't get a 1099. That's because you are under the threshold. If you don't make over $600, you're not going to get a 1099. However, that income is still taxable. Just because you don't receive the 1099 does not mean that it is not taxable income. So I get asked that all the time. Now, on the flip side, if you are a rental homeowner, if you have paid somebody to help you do services for your business, and you've paid them more than $600, you as the business owner, you need to be issuing the 1099. If it's for a subcontractor, it's going to be on 1099-NEC. If you've paid rents to somebody, then that's going to be on 1099 miscellaneous and show rents. Now, there's a lot of confusion out there with so many different payment methods. My understanding is that if you've paid somebody through Zelle, something like a cash app that's really like cash back and forth between banks, you are still responsible for issuing that 1099 if you've paid them more than $600. If you pay with a credit card, you don't need to issue a 1099. If you you are paying somebody that is a corporation, you don't need to issue a 1099. There's a lot of confusing rules out there, but what I like to tell you as a taxpayer is if you're going to be paying somebody, if you're paying somebody to clean your property, if you're paying somebody to do your social media and they live in the United States, if you're paying your own children who are over 18, they need to get a 1099. And so my best advice to you as a taxpayer is to get in the habit of requesting that they fill out a form W-9 prior to making payment to them. It's a whole lot easier to have them fill out the W-9 if they know they're not going to get paid until they turn that into you. I have so many taxpayers that go back after the fact. In January, they're trying to send out these W-9s, and those people that have collected money from you all year probably don't want to report it, to be honest, and so it's harder to get them to fill out that W-9. So make it your goal to always collect that W-9 up front before you make payments to somebody for services over $600. If they're a corporation, if you happen to pay them by credit card, then you don't need to issue the 1099, but you've got your forms in place. So those are just a few quick tips when it comes to W-2s, 1099s, year-end reports. If you want to be aware of all the dates that you need to be aware of as a business owner, I have put together the entrepreneur calendar that shows in detail the quarterly dates. Another thing, just in case you are brand new, if you are an S corporation owner, your tax return is due March 15th, not April 15th. A lot of times people don't realize that. If you're a single member LLC, it gets filed as part of your individual tax return and you actually have until April. But if you are a multi-member LLC that gets filed on a partnership return, that is also due March 15th. Just a number of dates for you to be aware of. Like I say, you can catch my calendar. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you can catch future episodes as I give you more tax tips. I'm here to help you, the small business owner, to be aware and maximize your earnings, minimize your taxes, minimize penalties, just stay on top of things. Hope you found this helpful. Feel free to share with somebody else that you think could use this information.